Hi everyone, welcome to Stampin' Storytellers. Today I am making a box for the cards that we always make to give as a gift, and I'm featuring the True Love Designer Series paper from Stampin' Up. This is 12 by 12 paper. One side has really great floral images, really easy to color or fussy cut out, and then the other side is all basic black and white patterns that is really fun as well to use for masculine cards or all occasion cards. I have an all occasion Stamp-A-Stack class that is still available, and I'll show you the cards that we make in it. So this is the box we're going to make today to hold our cards. So in that all occasion Stamp-A-Stack, you make 2 each of these 4 cards. They feature that True Love Designer Series paper, the white baker's twine that's part of the snail mail baker's twine pack. And in the class, you can add on the paper, add on the So Sentimental bundle, which is where I got all of my sentiments from. You can also add on white embossing powder and any heat embossing supplies. The add-on items are available at cost, so the catalog list price. And that class is listed on my blog. So let's make this really cute gift box for our cards. To get started, I have a piece of Whisper White for the bottom of the box. This is 6.5 by 7 3/4. Then I have a piece of that Designer Series paper for the lid of our box. This is 6 by 7 3/8. I have a stitched scallop rectangle, the largest one. Then I have one of the smaller ones for our sentiment, another label from the So Sentimental dies, or the Stitch So Sweetly dies, out of that Designer Series paper. And then I have pre-fussy cut 2 sets of flowers, also from that True Love Designer Series paper. So I'll put those extra pieces aside, and we'll start with the bottom. Get out your Stampin' trimmer, and just scoring, we are going to score the bottom piece 1 inch on all 4 sides. So I'll do that. Make sure when you're using Whisper White, basic white, if you have the new cardstock, you can use the thick or regular. If you're using the regular weight, make sure you don't push too hard when you're scoring, because it can just cut it by accident. Same applies for our Designer Series paper. It is thinner, so when you're scoring, you want to make sure that you're being careful. Then for the top layer, 3/4 of an inch on all 4 sides. Whoops. Ooh. And okay, and that's all we need our trimmer for. Now you can bring in your bone folder, and we can make all these score lines nice and creased. One more for the lid. Then I'll do the bottom at the same time. So these ones were 1 inch on the bottom, 3/4 of an inch on the top. There we go. Now your paper snips. If you don't have a pair of the Stampin' Up! Paper snips, you do need them. They are the greatest little scissors that you'll ever have. Then we're going to trim off these 4 tabs. So 1 on either side. It doesn't matter which way you do it, so you can cut from either end or on the sides, as long as you do them the same. So now that I've cut that end like this, I'm just going to rotate it and do the same on the other end. So that is the bottom of our box. Then we're going to do the exact same thing for the top. Score lines are harder to see on designer series paper. You probably won't be able to see them on the camera, but just those 4 tabs. And on the other end, there we go. So that's the inside. I'm going to use this floral pattern for the outside of our box. Now I can brush all those pieces away. And to adhere, we're simply going to put adhesive on our 4 tabs. And so I'll do those 2 first. And you just line it up at the edge. Oops, to make the corner. And hold it there for a second. Then I can do the other end. And you just want to hold it to make sure that it's lined up straight with your straight edge. Then I can do the others. And hold that one. Sometimes it's nice if you have those little baby clothespins. You can just clip it on there and then it'll hold on as it dries. Then you don't have to hold it quite as long in your finger. But this works. So there's our lid. Let's see, that one popped off. If you're using Stampin' Seal Plus, that might be a quicker alternative than Tombow. But we'll just set that aside and let it dry. Then we'll do the same with our bottom. So just adhesive on all 4 tabs. So there's the bottom. Then we can take a few cards, put them nicely in your box. The envelopes will fit in here as well. And then your lid will slide on perfectly for a nice form-fitted box. Now to do the outside. So on our stitch scalloped rectangle, we're going to leave that as is. Then we have our designer series paper label. On this smaller scalloped rectangle, we're going to do the masking technique, and I only want to use the word thank you to fit perfectly on this rectangle. So I'm just going to take 2 post-it notes and cover up the words that we don't want. So cover up the I can't at the top. And 1 more post-it on the bottom to cover up this word. So just like that, I can get my ink pad and make sure that one's stuck down well. Then I'm going to ink it up. So now it looks like this. Most important step is to remove these 2 post-its, put those in the garbage, and bring in my label, center it, and stamp it down. And now I have a perfect label without those extra words. This is easy if the words are far enough away from the other font that you can actually put a post-it on there. A lot of people do cut their stamp, so you can just cut the words off. And then if you wanted to use the whole stamp again, then you just put them on your block together. I have done that as well, but this one was easy to mask off. Then we're going to use some blending brushes. I had my blending brushes before Stampin' Up! Released theirs, but you can order the white-handled ones through Stampin' Up! Momentarily. I think they're right now on not orderable, but soon you will be able to get your hands on some. So I have my 2 fussy cut flowers. I'm going to start with my blending brush that I use with my pinks and purples. This one's for Rich Razzleberry. So I'm going to have a little ink on it, and I'm going to start in the middle and work my way out on here. Ink it up again, dark in the middle, light outside, and a sponge dauber would work great for these flowers as well to get that effect. One more in the middle and light to the outside. Then I have another blending brush that I use with my greens, and I'll just do the leaves. And doesn't that look really nice? And I'll do these leaves. This is a really great, quicker way to coloring your black and white images rather than coloring them with Stampin' Blends. And it's fun. Get a little bit messy. So there's my second batch of flowers. We can get rid of that. And now we just get to adhere our layers together. So on the top of my box, I'm going to adhere my stitched scallop rectangle, kind of at the bottom right-hand corner. Then I'll layer my DSP layer, and I do have it pretty centered, maybe a little bit more to the right-hand side because we're going to add our flowers. So now I'll take this one, whoops, and tuck it under, just tuck it under the edge so that you can't see that one leaf was missing part of it. Just like that. And then this flower will go like this maybe. And then I'll add my sentiment. Tuck that under there. See, now wasn't that easy? We'll rotate this a little bit. There we go. So isn't that fun? One more detail, I have our crinkled seam binding. I'm just going to take, my fingers are all gluey. This is the most staticky ribbon we have. I'm going to take it and wrap it around, tightly around my fingers 3 times. And then cut off that loop. Now it's a disaster already. You just spray the whole thing with Static Guard. Okay, so I've made kind of a figure 8. Then I'm going to cut one more little piece of the ribbon and trim the ends after I have made it nice. So fold that in. Oops. This is finicky little stuff, but once you get it, there we go. Tie that in a knot to make sure it doesn't come undone, because with my luck it would. So now I have a nice double bow. You can kind of mess up the ends here. Get a glue dot and I'm going to stick that down right on the end there. And then once it's glued on, then I can trim these ends at a nice make it lay how you want to. And there we go. A really fun 3D bow and some easy coloring for your designer series paper. I hope you liked my project today. If you'd like to stop by my blog, stampinstorytellers.blogspot.com, you can order directly from my blog on there for all these wonderful projects, as well as the online class that's available using this True Love Designer Series paper. I hope you liked my project today. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll stamp with you soon. Bye!